we asked you some questions at the start, and one of them that I really want to ask you about is, you mentioned that one of the things that people don't know about you is you struggle with your own relationship with food.
Yeah. And do you know what's interesting? I don't think, like, don't get me wrong, like most PTs, most people who go into online coaching, you either started really fat or you started really skinny. And it was your own body confidence and stuff like that. But I think what was interesting, and I didn't realise it till lockdown, until opening myself to new experiences, was that even though I'd sorted my eating habits, where they got my body to where I wanted it to be and stuff like that, I don't know whether my eating habits were any healthier when I was fit to what they were when I wasn't. They were probably healthier when I was nailing the Dominoes every week.
Yeah.
Because I had these rules, these structures around food that I just wouldn't let go. And I'd feel guilty about it if I didn't do it. You know, if I ate when I shouldn't, or I had this and that. And during lockdown, I think what was good was, as I was building online, because I was building online, I was looking at webinars, I was bringing people in, I was getting them in for these talks and everything like that. And I was listening to some of the stuff they'd say, and I was thinking, shit. I think a perfect example is, I reckon I went from 22 to 30 with a rule of can't have chocolate in the house, can't have crisp in the house, because if they're in, I'll eat them. Yeah. And had like a guest speaker in, and they were talking about it all, and they were like, one of the worst things you can do is ever just like keep it all out the house, because then you're letting it have this power over you, and then when you have it, you're wolfing it down because you don't get another chance. And I was thinking, yeah. And I was like, oh my God, I don't have a healthy relationship with food. Like, if I have a takeaway, I was really guilty about it. Yeah. If I went out for like a couple of bevies, I'd be like I go watch Everton on the aways all the time, and I'd be in Asda the night before, and I would be able to tell you by the end of the Asda trip the calories in every bottle of spirits. And I'd pick the bottle of spirits that was the lowest calories, rather than just the one I wanted to drink. Yeah. And the difference would be 20 calories for a full litre bottle. Yeah. And I'd be like, nah, that one. Yeah. And I think that's a part of the fitness industry that just gets neglected. It's like, they're in shape, they'll do that, look how good they are. And you think there's so many things that, like, 90% of the coaches, I reckon, have more food issues than the people that are coaching.
Especially in bodybuilding.
Yeah, I think it's the part of the fitness industry that's the least spoken about, the most ignored, and the least like educated on. The people have got the least education around, like in terms of coaches. Mm-hmm. Like, I had a conversation in the gym I'm at now, like a week or so ago. One of the PTs talking to their client, and he was chatting. She was like, "Oh, I'm going out for a meal tonight," and this is the PT. Say, "Oh, I'm going out for a meal tonight. But don't say nothing though, because I'm supposed to be on a diet." It's like, I was like, you know, you're just training, and I heard it, and I was like, what? And I'm like proper listening to the conversation. She said it a couple of times. She's like, yeah, I'm trying to lose weight because we're going on holiday, blah, 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 blah. So I shouldn't really be going out for a meal tonight. And I was like, what? Like, what's your client now going to think? That they have to now do that when they're...
They said that to their client?
Yeah.
Fucking hell.
So I was like...
Jesus Christ.
And they obviously don't see...
I thought you
that
said
as an issue.
They were saying that to their mate.
No, they said that.
That's unprofessional as fuck. on just a straight full stop. But then,
but obviously that just highlights.
She's so unaware of her own problems. She's now putting that up onto her client. So her client's gonna, as you just said, is gonna start thinking, right, well, if I want to lose weight, I can't go for a meal. Got to restrict myself on anything that I enjoy ever. I can't enjoy the foods that I want. And then he's going to think that they have to now hide it.
See that post you put on your story yesterday? I can never remember his name. Sadiq.
Yeah.
That's the name. And it was just the guys holding hands and them all raiding the pitch, and it was like the barrier to entry for being a personal trainer.
It was basically just some people trying to stop pitch invaders.
I've seen the picture. He just walks on.
Yeah, and he just walks past. And just said the barrier to entry for fitness professionals.
Do you know what it is? I always remember, like, I only did my PT qualification like 4 years ago. And I actually, funny enough, only really first got that to enhance my own and then realised that you don't learn anything on it.
No,
like,
not at all.
But the thing, bear in mind, like, qualification in primary school teaching, and the woman was like, you need to do this test first to see what your English and maths levels are at. And I was like, do I need to do this? Like, I've literally just come from a classroom where I've been teaching kids, like, you know, I think this, and she was like, it's a legal requirement. And I was like, all right. And the maths test was so easy that I was worried that I was getting, like, I'm missing something here. To the point I was remember, 5 cars were in a line and the yellow car was over the finish line and it said which car won the race.
Fuck off.
And I was like, I was looking at it and I was like, there's got to be more to this question, like than the yellow one. And I caught out the corner of my eye, like coming up was like a TV guide, and I caught out the corner of my eye, year 5 teacher. We get them kind of start getting them ready for SATs in year 5. I'm thinking, right, okay, that's going to be there. In my head, I'm just thinking, so that's going to be one about like, this is on them, what's this? And blah, blah, this one's missing. Looked at it and it just basically said like, what time's EastEnders on a Tuesday? And I was like, what? They're like 7:30. Like, why is this? And the level was like that basic.
Fucking, and that was for just to get you in to be able to do the...
So that was to make sure that you didn't need any additional support while you were doing it. Like that, like,
oh my God.
But I was
on
like,
the Zoom call. Hi, yeah, we just need to do a test before we get you in, just to check you don't need any support. Can you hold your hand up for me? Yeah, right. Can you count how many fingers are on your hand, please? 1,
that's heavy,
9, 11. Shit, no, I've got it wrong. No, let me try again.
What was the other one? Like, I remember doing the in practice one, and Kale, like, assessing went, before you start, just give you like a little like tip. And I was like, okay, this will be like good. She went, don't give the client any exercises that you can't do. And I was like, what? And she was like, well, like, if the client can't do it, it's fine, but I have to mark down if you can't do it. And she was like, for example, if you can't do a pull-up, don't put it on the plan. And I thought, what, like, male PT is becoming a PT and can't do a pull-up? Like, not like, fair enough, like a set where it's like, right, do 50 of them or do this, but one.
Demo one single pull-up for me. Like, that's all I need you
and
to
she
do.
was like, can you do pull-ups? And I was like, yeah. And she was like, okay, well, we'll be fine. I was like, I'm not going to put them on though, because my mate can't do pull-ups.
Yeah.
So I'm not sitting here for like while he like dangles for a bit.
It's okay if the client can't do it and you still put it on the program.
Yeah.
What?
What a choice of exercise. I mean, if it was like a really complex Olympic lift, like, don't teach them a snatch.
Yeah.
Because they've never been to the gym before. Be like, yeah, okay, great. I won't put that in. Put a pull-up.
It's just a shambles. I think there actually should be a degree.
Should be a degree.
It should be a degree.
I've just applied for the...
You should be able to get a degree in personal training or coaching.
Like the stuff that's covered in the Mac nutrition, the Mac University nutrition course should be part of your PT call. And then there should be like the stuff that's within sports science that applies to actual personal training should be within it as well, shouldn't it? Like, you should come out
100%.
You should come out with a degree and have a because think how much money between us we've spent in the past like 2 or 3 years to learn very little. Do you know what I mean? Like, we know a lot, but there's a lot we don't know as well.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? And that was all after being qualified. So that was all a choice to go and learn that stuff. Like, we could have done this job without any of that. I've been shit at it, but
there's so much responsibility that we have as coaches, and if you
and I
don't
think
have
more
the
of it,
level,
like, the easiest bit, which is the only bit which gets trained, is movement. Don't get me wrong, I know you two go into a lot more technically, I'd say, than I do. Like, you know, the actual like hinges and stuff with people. But that's the bit that, as long as you know the basics of, you can't really get wrong.
Yeah.
But then it is the stuff like food.
Yeah.
Like, there is nothing about food on the training qualifications apart from, basically, I remember the nutrition quiz that I did, like, to pass, was basically every question was, if they do something, you're not licensed to do this. You're not, like, it was like, if your client says they want help with their nutrition, do you A, make them a meal plan, B, and then the last one was always remind them that you're not qualified and they should seek out advice from a professional. And I was like, D. And then the last one was, if you're advising your client a healthy snack, what would you pick? The banana, it was the apple, the chocolate bar, the bag of crisp, or the slice of pizza. And I was thinking, it depends what calories they've got left. But I was like, but it's the apple. It's like, you know.
That's what pissed me off the most, because I felt like I knew more than the person who wrote the test. So like, I just had to choose the correct answer for what their limited brain is put on the exam, if that makes sense.
Well, I feel like Mike Israel nailed it. And have you ever seen his talk to like Gen Pop about like basic nutrition?
His TED talk.
Is it a TED talk? I thought it was I think I seen it in like a conference in a it was in like a university or something. And I say that I use this with people all the time. I said it to a lad who's just signed up with me yesterday on the call. I was like, your level of understanding of food is where it needs to be. Like, you don't really need to know much more. If I show you a McDonald's and I show you a chicken salad and I say which one of those is going to help you with your goals right now, you know.
Yeah.
If you look at water and you look at Coke, which one's probably going to be the better choice? You know, like most of the things you've got a fairly decent understanding of. Okay, if I keep eating McDonald's, I'm not gonna look fantastic with my top off. If I eat a little bit more salad than I normally do, if I start like, you know, all of these things, but it's actually implementing that into their life, isn't it? The behaviour change.
I think the funniest thing,
the purpose of coaching isn't it?
Yeah.
I think the funniest thing with food though as well is the only thing coaches probably really have to help clients with is getting them to avoid as many fitness healthy foods as possible, you know, like the skinny stuff. It's just, the sauces are just awful chemicals which like ruin your food. The chocolate bars are just chocolate bars. Like, all they are is like, rather than being a Mars bar, it's the equivalent of half a Mars bar, but it's all right because then you can have two. Like, and it's getting people to realize that like, that's a load of rubbish. Like, what I was talking about with my clients is like protein bars. I know they've come on a bit. Carb killers are nice, but they're not as nice as a proper chocolate bar. So I would say, like, if you like them and you feel like you need a bit more protein, have one. But if we can get your protein in from other food, that means you can have a normal chocolate bar.
Yeah.
And you can just have that, because that's what we want you having. Not if you're having carb killers and protein shakes all day, you're failing. And we're failing.
Can you, like, when you've gone from obviously struggling with your own eating and you putting webinars on and realising, shit, I've probably got a problem here. How did you get through that, and are you fully through that?
I wouldn't say I'm fully through it, but do you know what? I personally don't think anyone who has a bad relationship with food is ever going to be just done with it. But I think it's having that bit more freedom and having that bit more understanding, and almost, I think you put a post up which was really good lately, and it was you like when you were like that photo shoot ripped, and then you like, I think you just finished swimming, was it?
Yeah,
and you were like,
about,
this body like felt like shit, didn't do anything. This body can do all this, and I think it's half getting into that side of it, like, you know, realizing that it's not all about how lean you can get, how many abs you can get out, and instead just enjoying life with it. So I think I'm definitely like well through it, where I'm not panicked about it anymore. But while I was teaching, I was like, oh, but I think it gave me more, I think it worked on twofold. One, it gave me more, like, I need to learn more about this and I need to do this, because then I'm doing this. But I think all our clients who come to us for reasons. And mine was because, like, I can connect with them on that, so they know that. So I was like, so it's going to serve them as well. But it made me get more people in as well. It made me look into it. It made me deep dive into it. Like, had a therapist with it for a while to like talk about it and be like, this is it. And like, I think the more then kind of traits you learn with it, tricks you learn with it, they all build in till it's just like natural. And I equate that a lot to like getting your steps in. Like, when I first got a Fitbit, I was like, I am busy non-stop. I reckon I do 15,000 steps a day, like minimum. Got it. From when I started teaching to the end of the day, I'd do like 1,000, 2,000 steps. And I was like, wow, I don't move. So then I naturally built it up. And now I will average between like 15 to 20,000 steps a day without trying.
Yeah.
But it's because like I've got a standing desk. It's not like I go, right, need to go on a walk.
Yeah.
Like I've got a standing desk. I'm always moving about. I'm always fidgeting. And I'm naturally always fidgeting because I've made myself do it to the point where I just always am. And I think it's the same with stuff like food. It's not like you're like, right, oh, I've got a problem, I'll change it. It's like, right, I've got to kind of solve this tiny little thing.
Yeah.
And then I'll solve this tiny little thing. And then I'll solve this tiny little thing. And then all of a sudden, you're not even thinking about that first one because you're just doing it naturally.
It's building habits, isn't it?
I talk about with clients, like, it's about going to bed. Like, if you think about going to bed, you just go up the stairs, don't you? You don't think about it. But if you took that staircase away, 95% of people would be sleeping on the couch. Like, it's such a simple thing. It's take it away, it's gone. And it's the same with anything. We have to like build those steps so it's just easy then and we don't think about it ever again.
I said this, I think I'd done a video on it the other day, but I was having a conversation with a client who was struggling to like nail down on like a certain meal every day. I was like, just this week, just eat the same thing every day. Just for your breakfast, just eat the same thing every day. And you were like, but what if I get bored? I was like,
don't give a fuck.
Like, just eat it. Just trust me. I was like, where do you brush your teeth? You brush your teeth in the bathroom every morning, don't you? Do you put your toothbrush in the same place? Do you put toothpaste in the same place? Do you stand in the same place? Right? Do you need to think about brushing your teeth in the morning, or do you just get up and walk in the bathroom? Right? Because you're doing it all the same. It's not going to be a habit if every day you eat in a different position, you go to a different room, like, you're picking a different meal, you're thinking about what a different meal is. Like, just do that now.
I think that's another thing that's a problem in the fitness industry. When you start dieting, when you start counting your calories, you have to have all these different meals. But the same people who had all these different meals had Cocoa Pops for their breakfast for 5 years on the trot. But now they need a different breakfast for every day of the month. Because they're on this diet and they don't want to get bored. Where it's just like, no, just find that breakfast that you like. And then at the weekends, have a different breakfast to shake it up. But during the week, like, if you weren't dieting, if you weren't counting your calories, you would probably have the same thing every single morning.
It's this, I think the first time I ever heard this phrase, I think you told me about it, decision fatigue.
Decision fatigue, yeah.
It's like, I'm busy as fuck. Everyone's busy as fuck. Like, there's so much stuff going on. The last thing you want to be doing is spending 20 minutes on MyFitnessPal trying to fucking work out your calories. Like, fuck that. So I've gone onto a meal plan recently, and oh my God, like first of all, just the level of efficiency I've now got in the working day has just gone up because I'm not wasting time and using my brain power to fucking work out what I'm going to eat and scour in the cupboards to find something that fits my macros. But now the accuracy that I'm able to bring to my actual nutrition compliance is bang on every day because I've just made a meal plan. And the breakfast is the same every day. Second meal is very similar, but the only difference is one day it's fruit and fibre cereal, one day it's cornflakes. Then I have a normal meal, and the only difference is the meat, and it just depends on whatever meat I've defrosted. And then the post-workout's always the same, and if I'm not training, it's pretty much exactly the same. Post-workout is the carb source and a protein shake. If I'm not training, it's just the protein shake, and then the final meal is just the meat sauce rotated again. And it's literally almost exactly the same every day, but I rotate the vegetables and rotate the meats, and that's it. And I don't have to ever think about food because it's become so habitual for me. Food's in the same place every time. Don't have to think about it. Just no decision fatigue at all. So now the efficiency through the day and the ability to be compliant with nutrition is just through the roof.
Even like, because I'm not as robotic as that, and like some of my clients can't be that religious with that. But doing that and then just having one meal where you get a bit creative. Do you know what I mean? So like, my last meal of the day is always something different. Because I like cooking. I like cooking food. I enjoy like making new stuff. So, but then that's all I've got to think about. And I look forward to that, man. That's what I always say to people is like, you don't get, a lot of people don't care about every single meal in the day.
Yeah.
It's like no one gets up at, like, some people get up in the morning, it's like, I love breakfast. Like, you've got a breakfast that you love, but you don't really care about lunch. You just need it to eat because you're hungry.
Yeah.
And you don't really care about tea or something like that. So I always say to them, like, what's the meal you couldn't go without? Is it breakfast? Is it a lunch? Do you go somewhere for lunch? Do you go somewhere for tea? Right, okay. Yeah. Keep that one as whatever you want it to be.
Yeah.
And then let's look at these other ones that you don't really care about.
It always just comes back to the same shit, though. It depends on the person.
Yeah.
I think it's all about planning, though, isn't it? Yeah. Like, that's the key. Like, that's probably like a little bit too intense for me. Yeah. I think that's what I've done in the past.
So for me, I get frustrated because I have to waste time working out food.
Oh, yeah. And I think that's
someone who's got the extra time and they prefer to find, like, I know Rachel always puts on a story like, oh, you can get this for like 70 calories, you can do this, you can do that. And my mum's on the fucking Courtney Black thing and she's looking at all these recipes. Yeah. I'm just like, that thing, that
doesn't work for someone who sees the world like the Matrix, though, does it? Just ones everywhere,
that like. Crumpet.
I have seen the post where Isaac puts salt in a cereal and I thought, that's too far for me.
That crumpet with Biscoff and fucking, like, you fucking cracked an egg on your crumpet and fry it. And it's just like, yeah, that's great. But, like, who the fuck's got time for that? I haven't got 20 minutes to cook me breakfast.